Good morning, people. How's it going? It's super cold here in the Northern America lands. Canadian land. And just for reference, it is minus 31 degrees Celsius. Now, most of you who have never experienced this will just recognize minus 31 as just like a number. You won't have a feeling to go with that number. So we're gonna do a little experiment here, and I'm gonna show you what exactly it's like to live in minus 31. Right now, we're just gonna boil some water here. And while it's boiling, I'm just gonna... Now, I know a lot of you guys are still driving around, there's no snow on the ground, you can still drive your race cars. And I just wanna say that I pretty much hate you guys. We have winter pretty much half of the year. So we have two seasons, we have winter and summer, and that's about it. If you've never experienced winter like this, you just don't understand. The only people who can understand are like the Inuit peoples. And even theirs is colder than us, so we don't understand theirs. So here, our water's boiling. I'll turn that off. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna open this door. And we're just gonna toss the water outside. Most of our boiling water just evaporates before it hits the ground. That's how cold it is. What's up, my dudes? We're back in the garage. I still have to work 3 night shifts, whatever. But on these days off, I plan on putting a lot of time into this car, so I'm gonna take on a monumental task of actually moving this turbo and using what we have to just build a little bit of a better turbo kit than what we already have right now. I wanna move it so the actual compressor housing is facing the other way and the exhaust housing is facing that way, or the exhaust housing is facing this way. So we're gonna move the turbo onto this side of the frame rail. What we're gonna do first, we're gonna take this off, we're gonna take our joint piping off, and we're going to cut out this section right here, and we're going to put the fender liner back up so we can see where we can put our turbo. In other news, I'm actually obsessed with welding, so that's why I want to do this now. I'm so into this TIG welder stuff. But Jam 5000, or Virginia Frank, she's actually picking up a welding table for me today, and we'll have that in a couple days too. So, thanks. This bolt is the worst bolt ever to get out. Now we're getting somewhere with some room. Look at that. Tons of room now. So we put the fender up in place. Alright, so this is essentially what we're going to be looking at here. My wrench is stuck on a bolt, so can't get that off, but we just put our plate in the frame here just to hold it a little bit. We'll probably just weld that to the frame, to be honest. And then, yeah, everything else looks okay here. Clean it up and weld it to the frame, and then we'll start on our piping. We do not have a room to put an intake filter on it, unfortunately, but if we want to get real ballsy at the track, you just pull this headlight out and then, look at that, ram air. Ram air. Perfect. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot better than here, and then we can take our piping and we probably get away with going this way down there. So there's a bunch of pie cuts down here and then out through the side. Or if we're real ballsy and we have enough clearance with the fender, we can just come out this way, like on a 90, and then straight out the fender right there. Okay, so before I get too far, I just welded along the frame there, and then I welded it down here. But before I weld the rest, I just wanted to show you that, like, yeah, the fender is where it needs to be. We're gonna have to cut out this bottom portion right here to get the pipe to fit up in there, but that's okay. So we'll weld the other side. Might put a plate here and brace the back too, but I'm not too worried. It's a light turbo. That tiny turbo only weighs like 25 pounds, I think. The next thing is going to be to clean up the big mess that we made. And then we can start from like a fresh platform, you know what I mean? So you're not trying to work around all the clutter. It's just gonna make things easier. So, tidy up what I put out. And then I can put out some more. That was a fail. Next up, we're going to try and lop off our T4 flange, reuse that. Probably shouldn't, but you know, whatever. This is, what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to reuse what we have here. I'm going to order more 304 stainless and more bellows. And I'm going to build a proper exhaust side, but I wanted to move the turbo because it's in a way better position than it was. I was actually afraid of cracking some stuff if I didn't put another flex section in it, so that's why I'm moving it actually. Yep, we mangled her. Look at it. Looks like beat up 50-year-old. I didn't even have to finish that one. You guys knew what I was gonna say. This needs to be cleaned up big time. So what seems like after a lifetime, like my elbow's never been this sore ever, and I jerk off a lot, but I think we have a workable surface again. What I think we're gonna do this time is we're going to just put a 2.5 into it and hammer it out, and we'll join both pipes into one 2.5. Maybe? I don't know. Let's try it. So I'm just thinking here, like, is 2.5 gonna be enough? What happens when I... Kind of small. Do we have any 3-inch laying around? We'll just test. Oh my god. Almost fell. We'll just test with this intercooler pipe. And 3 inches is almost too big. How do we merge two 2.5s into a 3-inch? I feel like the 3-inch is going to be a little bit too big. It just doesn't seem to want to work well. Yeah, it's gonna be huge. Alright, I got a little bit of a game plan here. Man, I should probably wear a t-shirt underneath this. Makes it look like I'm showing off my chest, but I'm not. I got a little bit of a game plan going here. What I need to do is, I'm just gonna use a 2.5 because the exhaust housing on that turbo is like, it's super tiny anyways, so. We're gonna squish that into this. We have it lined up, marked, and then we'll join up our other pipe into this one. And this was cut out of our old previous one. So we'll reuse this flex section, and then we'll add another flex section in as well. We're gonna start squeezing this. One piece. We cut this one so it'll fit in here. Now we just have to make them merge up a little bit better than that. And then that'll give us our bigger thing at the bottom here, I hope. But now I gotta cut this second pipe for this pipe to fit into it. So I end up like abandoning my plan, and I should have used the chop saw from the beginning to make 2 halves, but I'm gonna try and weld these together, and then I'm gonna lop them off right where I need them. But I wish I would have. Now we do have the back purging tube in here on this side. There is a bit of a gap here. I don't know how I'm going to get rid of that, but we're going to do our best to fill it, I guess. Obviously the tighter the gaps the better, but we have a bit of a gap there. There's a bit of gap here, so that's why I started blowing a hole in it. So maybe I'll flip over into the other side for a bit, and then see if we can hammer this closer. And I don't know if this is the proper way, but I put it in a drill, that way it spins. And then I put it on my belt sander on the side, the one that I don't use for anything else, and that's how I do it. Okay, it's a couple days later, and I have some things to talk about with this weld. Here it is. How shitty it is. You can see, kind of sucks. The way I like to do things is I like to fail at them and then figure out why I failed at it. So one thing is I could use a lot more amps and then just go faster. That's one thing. The second thing is I could probably get away with using a bigger cup. This is a number 7. I could probably get away with like putting a 10 on there. And then another thing is I had like not enough holes in my back purging setup. So as I was welding, I was trying to blow through where I was trying to weld, and then it would just get all kinds of crazy and I didn't know what was happening. But I think that's what was happening. I need to put more holes in the tin foil in the ends. And then the next thing is just like, I suck. I need more practice. So I might end up abandoning this pipe and then redoing this section. One thing I really regret with this is I'm doing my cut on the freehand instead of using the chop saw over there. Because I didn't know that I was gonna merge them like this. But if I were to do it again, which I might actually end up doing, is I'll use the chop saw instead, and I'll get two very close pieces that I don't have to fill gaps, because filling gaps is what kind of screwed me up on this piece. So I'm gonna tinker around with this piece, see if I can like salvage it a little bit, and if I can't, we'll go back to the chop saw and cut 2 new pieces. So it turns out the biggest one I have is a number 8 cut. Also, we're like halfway through our very first tungsten. Probably because I'm shit, but like I had to sharpen it a lot. I keep dipping it, which means I have to sharpen it a lot. So I just went over it with this little stainless brush here. And you can kind of see what I'm looking at here. This, I feel like, was probably the best thing, and then I started having to try and fill gaps here. So what I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn the amps a bit, and I'm gonna come back over this again and see if I can make it not shit. Anyone want to tell me if my little filler wire is going to be too small, or if I should grab a bigger filler wire here? So I'm going to clean this off, maybe reacetone this, see if I can get it nice and clean, and I'm going to try one more attempt at a higher amperage here. I should probably turn the gas on. That was exhausting, but every time you put the TIG torch down, it seems like you learn a little bit more. So, this was like right at the beginning, the last time we did all this bullshit, and then this is like where we continued on, filled our stuff. We even run around the top here. Refilled it here again, went around the top again. Like we're still not moving fast enough, I don't think, but we're getting somewhere a bit decent. This should do for now, anyways. Now what we're gonna have to do next is get this ready to join up to our T4 flange. I just want to know how wide this is. 3 inches, so we got to cut this at 3 inches, which is right at the end there. All right, be back in 1 second. Okay, so we had to put the exhaust on a really funky angle, so I bolted the flange to the turbo housing, so hopefully it won't warp, so we can like weld here and on the other side, and then hopefully pound out the corners to reach where they have to reach. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna weld up these sides, and then hopefully pound the corners out, and then work from there. So here's my welds again. I'm running it a lot hotter now, just because the bottom piece is such thick metal. So I'm gonna let this cool down a bit, and then I'll pull the flange off and then see if we can pound out the other side so we can weld those two. Whee-oo! I think I have a smaller ball peen hammer. Okay, we're a little bit iffy here. This is like the best I could get the gaps. So I think we're really gonna have to go heavy on the filler here, trying to fill that hole. It's not ideal. And realistically, this is just to get this running now. I am ordering more 304 stainless, so this is like a test run for an actual turbo manifold build. But I mean, how else am I gonna learn? I just gotta do it. So I'm gonna do it. So we managed to fill the hole on one side. Obviously I don't have a steady hand, if you can see how wacky everything looks there. I didn't back purchase either, which is probably not a good idea, but there's a better look at it all. I managed to fill the gap though, that's the main thing. I just gotta do the other side. And it seems to me that like getting a comfortable work position is the biggest thing with a TIG welder. I do have a welding table that I bought. It's a 2x3 welding table from Princess Auto, which would be the same as yours guys, Harbor Freight. So it's 3 feet long, 2 feet wide, and it's just got a bunch of holes in it, but it'll be better than working on our bench here. I'll have that probably tomorrow when I see Virginia later. She's the one who picked it up for me. Thank you again. And yeah, just keep kicking at this. So even though this isn't like the most perfect piece ever, it should hold for what I want to do. And even if it doesn't, we'll just pull it apart, and that's what this is all about. I can just re-weld it. So I'm having fun, and that's the biggest thing right now. And I'm constantly sharpening this tungsten. My God, my life. I'm getting better. The less suck you are, the less you're gonna have to sharpen it, I guess. So, gotta put your 10,000 hours in apparently to be professional at something. It seems that my filler rod of choice so far has been this 3/16. It's 308. I should be using 309 because I think this is mild, but whatever, it's what I have. One day I'll have enough welding supplies that I can do right things. And you guys told me to cut it in half, so I'm cutting it in half. I've already hit the tungsten again. So I'm gonna let this cool. Obviously, I'm shit at welding, so it came out like shit. But yeah, so you can see all the garbage that I got in there. Actually, let me flip this up, maybe into the light. Yeah, I kind of junked it a little bit in there. Anyways, this leg comes off right here, and it pretty much almost lines up with this. It's like literally right here. So then we just have to join it up to that pipe down there, the other leg. I'm a bunch of hours into this video, so I'm probably gonna end it off there. We are moving the turbo, so that's kind of cool. And I'll be back out here after. I did find the right fuel filter bags for the Mustang fuel hat, so we'll get that installed pretty soon here too. Still waiting on a torque converter and an ECU. One day maybe. Oh yeah, thank you guys for suffering out like my extremely long videos of welding that are probably super boring. But thanks for critiquing me. Thanks for giving me tips. I always remember the things that you guys tell me. And yeah, thanks guys. Love you. So peace easy guys. Get that V.